Alright, so today we begin our ride out near Coledale, just north of Wollongong. As you can see, it's a beautiful day. You can see way out there. What we're going to do today is head out through the National Park, the Royal National Park in New South Wales, Australia, and enjoy a really good ride through there. Lots of seascapes to look at, and of course we'll journey across the famous Sea Cliff Bridge, only relatively recently completed, and that's a fantastic motorcycle ride just across that. We'll head up towards a place called Stanwell Tops, where they do all their hang gliding from. Maybe have a quick stop there. Beautiful spot this too, plenty of parking today for a change. And of course we'll be heading up on the usual mode of transport, the Indian Chief Vintage, looking her resplendent self today. Alright, we might as well get moving. Times are wasting. Whoever designs these speed humps ought to have their head read ridiculously vicious. They're not speed humps, they're axle breakers. Alrighty, here we go. As far as motorcycle rides go, this is way up there. Even right from here. This is why I started the video where I did. Lots of twists and good corners and all the things we crave. Beautiful views. It's a great day today. Very little wind, sunshine everywhere, very few clouds, if any. Colours, beautiful. Yep, this should be one really good ride. Wombara. All the little suburbs out this way sort of quickly change into each other. You go a couple of kilometres or 1 kilometre and suddenly you're in another suburb altogether. Now we're at a suburb called Scarborough. Famous for the Scarborough Leather Works. They do some good stuff. Here they are, just there. Great quality leather stuff if you're after it. And the Scarborough Hotel, very, very popular spot, especially weekends. Very difficult to get parking there on a good day, busy day. So we're not that far from the Seacliff Bridge now. It's just in over there in between those hollows of the twist of the coastline. See if we can't let that traffic get a bit more ahead of us so that we get a better view of the bridge as we're travelling along it. Just heading down to it now. This bridge was built at rather enormous expense and causing a long closure of this whole road, which is one reason that hotel just back there went broke. The entire route along here was closed for I think maybe excuse me, between 2 and 3 years. But we ended up with this fantastic bridge, which is becoming world famous. It was built, of course, that used to be the old road over on the left there. You still see parts of it, and of course it was subject to tons of rockfalls and other assorted problems with it. Quite dangerous and collapsing here and there. So this bridge was built to replace it, and as you can see, it's well away from all the danger areas, rockfalls and it's actually built right on the sea, or over parts of the sea here as the sea comes in, and it's really good to ride along. Best to take your time and enjoy. If only it was a little longer. I think we piked out a bit here and ran out of money. It would have been nice to have kept going, bridging that area there. This area is quite susceptible to rock slides as well. So I guess the dollars just ran out and couldn't quite complete right to this spot. But anyway, all in all, there have been very few problems I think since that was built. Road's always open. A lot of tourists, a lot of people would like to walk along it. Very, very nice. Area of interest, of course, will be Stanwell Tops, where on good wind, when the wind's correct, right, on certain days, we get dozens of hang gliding enthusiasts right up the top there, called Ball Hill, I believe, and yeah, a lot of hang gliding enthusiasts make that place their home for the day and do a lot of flights and soaring around. It's quite good to watch. A lot of them soar down from that big hill up there and they end up down on the beach below. You can hire hang gliders and instructors, and it's very well frequented. A lot of activity goes on there, especially weekends too. Another good tourist attraction, and the parking area and the facilities up there have just been upgraded. It's quite a great place to stop and have a look. Great views down south and up north, if you can see past the hang gliders. Posty back there's got a good run, isn't he? Riding his post bike along these roads. Better than delivering in the suburbs, I guess. Probably only have to stop about once every 2 kilometres. There's not many houses along here. tons of parking available. We might have a quick stop here and stretch, have a look at the view. That's a view and a half, that, isn't it? You can see the Seacliff Bridge down there. We just came over. A couple of hang gliders sitting up there. Looks like the wind's good for them too. Easterly wind. Beautiful view. I think this is the classic of where the mountains meet the sea. Well, time to move on. Off to the national park. We'll get through about 3/4 of that and we'll stop at a place called Audley. Very nice little spot on the river there. Lots of ducks and you can hire canoes, not that I'm going to do that. Canoes and boats I think is for hire there. And that's quite popular too on weekends. Alright, so there's still a couple of nice little viewpoints along here, and a couple of lookouts before heading into the national park. This is a Monday. On weekends there's a toll gate at each end of the Royal National Park where you pay, I think it's around $10 a car if you wish to stop at any of the facilities of the Royal National Park. If you don't stop, you just tell if you're not going to stop, you tell the toll operator that you're heading straight through, you're just in transit, and you go through for free. But then don't be caught stopped at one of the camping grounds or beaches or anything else unless you've got one of their passes displayed. You get quite nasty about that. But during the week it's there's no tolls, it's just free to either go straight through the park or stop if you wish. So that's about the best time to come, and there's much fewer people and there's plenty of parking, no queues. So if you've got the weekdays off, that's the time to come through here, like I'm doing now. That's another nice view over there. We'll look out from there, down through Wollongong and beyond. Great view south. Always popular. Believe it or not, I got breath tested along here a couple of weeks back. I passed the test, by the way. So here we go, we're going into the National Park now. Lots of trees, bush animals, lots of shade and shadows, which if you're going at any speed, I found doesn't do a lot for the quality of the footage you take. If you go too fast through these shadows around between the trees on a sunny day, you get a lot of pixelation on the resulting footage. I guess the camera can't keep up with the millions of changing bits of light as you're going through the shadows, but I found that the slower you go and the less shadows there are, as long as it's nice and bright up top, the film comes out quite well. So we're only going to go very slow, very steady. It's still early in the day, and there could be the odd kangaroo or walking log, I should say wombat, decided to have a little sit on the road and get some of the heat from yesterday on them. So you've got to be aware of that. And this road doesn't have a real good record for motor accidents, particularly motorcycles. We've 10,000 tonnes of leaves on the road there. I wonder what's happened there. Yeah, it's got a real bad record actually. Motorcyclists tend to just push the limits a little bit too far, and they take some liberties on the corners. Somebody who's maybe not watching has come too far over on their side, and bang, that's the end of that. So it's a good idea to be very careful and just plod your way through here. And anyway, enjoy the sights and sounds, smells. What's the rush? The halfway mark of the journey through the park is not far ahead. It's a place called Waterfall, or you turn off left there, the direction we're going, and you end up at a place called Waterfall, just a very small hamlet, I guess, on the main road there, and I think it's mainly a rail stop. It's got a train station. That's about it. So that marks about the halfway point through this journey. And the Audley stop is a bit over halfway again of the remaining leg of this trip. Very popular here with push bike riders as well, not just motorcycles. See a lot of push bikes along here. Now we're getting some of those shadows I mentioned before. almost like a laser light effect, which doesn't do much for your eyes and doesn't probably do much for the camera either. But that's what it's like riding along here. There are stretches of the national park a bit further up past the halfway mark that get out more in the open. There's a lot less trees and a lot less of the shadowy effect. A bit of everything in this park for everyone. It's a beautiful motorcycle ride if you take it steady. Keep your eye on the road. Don't talk too much onto your camera. This is October 2 in New South Wales here, and daylight savings in full swing, and it's just going 10 o'clock, almost 10 to 10 in the morning, so the temperature's still quite cool, especially in these shady areas. It's very comfortable. Road's a little wet from last night's dew. Hasn't quite dried out yet, especially where the trees overhang. It can be quite tricky. You'll get a small section of completely dry road, and then you'll come to somewhere like this and it's just almost like it's been raining on it. For anyone that's interested, I'm filming this on a GoPro Hero 5 Black, and the settings are 108 OP, 50 frames a second, with the view in wide view, just to make it a little more interesting and see a lot more of the detail to the side of the camera rather than just the bitumen in front. Of course, you sacrifice a little bit of squareness on the right hand and left hand edges because it starts to do the fisheye effect a little because of the way the view is formulated. But I think I found it's the perfect view for this camera on a motorcycle. Just get plenty of details. You don't want to just be staring at the bitumen and nothing else much, so this gives you quite a bit each side, and of course if you need to pan across like that you can see even more on a given side. The camera is mounted on the chin of the helmet. I found that's by far the best place. It's I did have one when I first got it. I had it mounted on the top of the helmet. This is the turn off I was speaking about before to Waterfall in Sutherland. If you want to quit now, you can head off to the left there and get out of the national park, end up at Waterfall, then turn left or right to go to Sydney or Wollongong. But we're keeping going. We're going the whole hog here. Yeah, and as I was saying, the camera's mounted on the chin. I had the one that I had on the top of the helmet was okay, but it just wasn't a natural view. This is much better because it gives you the actual view the rider is getting, minus the distance between his eyes and his mouth, I suppose. Very little difference, and you get to see a little bit of the motorcycle in the foreground, which is good. You need to know you're on one, and it's not just a dash cam in a car, so you want to see a little bit of the handlebars occasionally and windscreen if you got one. So the chin mount I found to be just right. I've also got an internal microphone mounted inside the helmet near my mouth, which I think it was called a giant squid. Had to import it from America. We don't seem to have any others already in Australia, so I've got a giant squid brand microphone, and it's been really, really good. I can't fault it. It's you just plug that into an adapter that goes with the camera, or you have to buy separately actually for the GoPro, and it's quite large. It's a bit of a brick, this adapter, and you've got to mount that somewhere on the other side of the helmet as well. And so your microphone gets plugged into that adapter, and then the adapter gets plugged into the GoPro camera. So all in all, it looks a bit complex when you see the thing mounted on the helmet. Not only that, to get it onto the chin, there's no way you could glue anything or use that double-sided tape to glue it to the front of the helmet. It's just too pointy, so you have to mount the base of the mount quite a long way around from your mouth or from the chin, which means you need a lot of linkages and extensions and God knows what else to actually situate the camera right at the front, which I've done. I think there's about 6 linkages involved. They look ugly, but the advantage of that is you've got 6 points where you can adjust the heights, angle, you know, whatever way you like to film, and get the height right, mainly in the angle of, you know, not too high, not too low, that type of thing. So it's good for that, but it certainly looks, I don't know, pretty horrible. But what does it matter? So that's the setup I use, and it's quite successful. I've had to buy some man-made fur windshield cover to go over the microphone. It came with a sort of a very cheap, pathetic-looking foam cover, which doesn't really stop the wind noise. So anyway, from China I managed to get 5 of the proper man-made fur wind covers that fit this 10mm microphone head, and they slide over that, and they do a huge job of cutting down any rushing wind noises. So that's a bit of a must too, and then your voice comes out clearly. But it doesn't sacrifice the sound of the motorcycle. You can still hear that, the engine, quite easily, and other sounds. You can still hear a bit of the, I suppose, the wind noises, buffeting noises that you get on your helmet from time to time. You can still hear those on the microphone too, but believe me, it's nowhere near as bad as if you don't have a windshield over the microphone, or if you don't have an internal microphone, forget doing this, because with the camera outside like that, it's getting every bit of wind and noise, and it's a little bit too far away from your mouth to hear you talking anyway. So you can forget about doing commentary if you don't have an internal mic. It's just not worth even trying. Starting to climb up a little bit out of that valley now, and we're going up to more of the flatter areas and open areas of the national park. Less vegetation. There's turn-offs to various beaches. Gary Beach. There's another one I can't think of the name of. This next right here is Gary Beach. That's right. Guatemala is the name of the other beach popular here. I think there's one more after Guatemala as well. That's it there. So now we're getting full advantage of the beautiful sunny day with a lot less trees either side and not too many shadows on the road. This is the turn off to Guatemala Beach. Great spot down there. A lot of people like to jump off these cliffs into the water. I think I did it myself when I was a youngster, but not anymore. Too old for that now. hell of a corner, that one back there. It's really well banked and you can get around it fairly quickly. So we'll be heading down a bit of a ravine or into a valley here shortly to end up at Audley. A little stop there, as I've mentioned before, that's got a few boats and it's got a good cafe. Toilets, if you need them. Lots of good walks. A nice causeway you can walk along, as long as it's not flooding. So we're about 3 miles of winding road from there. Got to tell you, I'm in full admiration for the brakes on this bike. The other day I had occasion to stop quickly from 80 to 0 to avoid going through a red light camera, and I think it's pulled up to a full stop in from 80 to 0 in about 30 metres without any skids. Of course, got ABS and no skidding or any loss of control whatsoever. It kept a perfect straight line and just pulled up. And a car that was alongside me, he took the chance. He didn't think he could stop in time, and he went through, and I'm pretty sure he got photographed. So the ABS and the good brakes on this bike probably saved me a fine of about $200 the other day or more, and loss of points, of course. So here we are. This is Audley, beautiful little spot. We'll go into the car park down here and have a look. It's right on a river. There's a few cars here today too. Audley Village. And so here we go again, out of the national park. Really is a nice spot, this. This bike has an unusual starting method, I suppose you'd say. It's once you press the engine start button, you can just let it go, and it continues to crank the engine until it actually fires. I'm not sure what happens if it doesn't fire, whether it just keeps cranking on and on and on. Anyway, it's a handy feature. You just press your button and wait for nature to take its course. Here's the causeway. Very nice. So this is the climb out of the Royal National Park now. And it brings you out at just south of Sutherland. And at that point you can either, some traffic lights, you can either turn right or turn left. Turning right takes you towards Sydney, turning left takes you towards Wollongong, back home. tourist buses come here from Sydney, small buses like that one, usually carrying Asian tourists. I guess they all arrive on a tour, and the smaller buses are easier to get around in some of these windy roads. So there's quite a few, and they'll actually drive right through the national park like I just did, and end up at Stanwell Tops. And if there's hang gliding, they'll stop there and have a look at that and buy an ice cream or whatever, take a lot of photos. So this is a real popular excursion, I guess, from Sydney with tourists, and rightly so. It's a beautiful place to visit.